Ask anyone about the allegations.
Totally shocked.
It is surprising
to hear that all that's going on is shocking.
Former Daggett County Sheriff Jerry Jorgensen resigned at the start of last week, 2 months after the Department of Corrections transferred 80 state inmates out of the jail and launched the investigation. Now he and some of his staff face charges for how they treated inmates over the past year.
There was a lot of different types of misconduct going on.
According to court documents, one particular jail training officer, Joshua Cox, used a taser he allegedly stole from the Smithfield Police Department to tase several inmates on multiple occasions, and that in some cases he promised the inmates soda for being tased. Plus,
that same particular officer was also bringing in uncertified canine to actually bite inmates.
The documents allege when complaints were made to Sheriff Jorgensen, he did nothing to stop it and instead lied about what was happening in his jail. Not only that, the Department of Corrections says its investigation found jail staff members did things like sleep on the job, sneak in Game Boys and food, and hold barbecues for certain inmates. All told, the charges amount to 10 felonies and 7 misdemeanors between 5 people.
There was 3 officers that were either terminated or they resigned during the investigation. There was also a jail commander who resigned during the investigation. And then, of course, you had the sheriff.
For residents,
it's just a sad situation, I think. Just very sad.
They're still wrapping their heads around it, though.
Small community like this, honestly, and I'm from small town Wyoming, you get this kind of corruption. You really do, because there's not enough checks and balances in this small town.
Everyone involved is no longer employed by the jail, and the DOC says it's now working with the new jail leadership before it moves the state inmates back to this building. I spoke with the Daggett County Commissioner about 15 minutes ago. He tells me from here on Monday is the deadline for applications for a new sheriff. Then on Tuesday evening, the next day, a committee is going to be picking a new candidate that the commission will then later vote on. As soon as that new sheriff is instated into the department, he will then be in charge of filling the rest of those vacancies. Live in Daggett County, Lauren Steinbrecher, Fox 13 News, Utah.
News is before you see the video, the girl is
Sheriff, 4 staff charged after inmates abused with stun guns. Utah's Attorney General filed charges Friday against a former sheriff and 4 deputies in a rural county after prosecutors say inmates were stunned with a taser in exchange for soda or as hazing when assigned to a work crew. Former Daggett County Sheriff Jerry R. Jorgensen has been charged with 3 misdemeanor counts of misconduct, obstructing justice, and failing to keep inmates safe. He resigned last month as state officials investigated allegations of inmate abuse. According to the charges, former Deputy Joshua J. Cox threatened inmates with his personal taser in 2015 and 2016. On one occasion in August 2016, Cox promised 5 inmates a case of soda if they could endure the stun gun for 5 minutes. 2 months later, Cox used the taser as an initiation to an inmate work crew and required one inmate to withstand the taser in exchange for keeping his work privileges, prosecutors said. Court records allege that between December 2016 and February 2017, Cox brought uncertified police dogs into the jail and ordered 2 inmates to participate in training the dogs. Cox was not a certified canine officer and both inmates were bitten by the unleashed animals, prosecutors said. Cox faces 11 counts, including felony aggravated assault, weapons charges, and theft. Prosecutors said the theft charge was filed because Cox's taser was stolen from the police department where he used to work. No telephone number or defense attorney was publicly listed for Cox. He was fired in April, according to Sheriff's Office spokeswoman Susie Potter. Former Deputy Benjamin C. Lale was charged with aggravated assault for pointing a taser at a woman's feet in a control room at the jail and saying, "Okay, you're done, now get back to class." The woman was not identified. Utah Department of Corrections spokeswoman Maria Peterson said the woman was a volunteer at the jail. Jorgensen is accused of failing to properly supervise his jail staff and putting inmates in danger. The obstruction of justice charge stems from the former sheriff allegedly denying that he received an email from an unnamed woman detailing how Lale intimidated her by pointing a stun gun at her feet. Deputies Logan Walker, 26, and Rodrigo Toledo, 41, are accused of being witnesses to Cox's use of the stun gun on inmates. They are charged with misdemeanor official misconduct for not stopping Cox and failing to report it after it happened. Lale, Toledo, Walker, and Jorgensen could not be reached for comment and did not have listed attorneys to speak on their behalf Friday. Court records show the former sheriff and his 4 former deputies are scheduled to make their first court appearances on June 9. All 5 are required to turn themselves in at the Uinta County Sheriff's Office by the end of May to be fingerprinted and have their mugshots taken. Attorney General Sean Reyes in a statement called Cox's alleged actions unbelievably inhumane and a reprehensible miscarriage of justice. The Attorney General said the actions of the other men were inexcusable. Daggett County and the Sheriff's Office had no comment on the charges or those named in the case, according to an emailed statement from Potter late Friday. State officials began investigating the rural eastern Utah jail earlier this year after Jorgensen reported possible mistreatment of inmates. The jail, near Flaming Gorge National Recreation Area in the small town of Manila on the Wyoming border, has been empty since February, when Utah's Corrections Department learned of the allegations and removed 80 inmates, all male, to other jails or prisons. About 15 of those inmates have now been paroled or discharged, according to Peterson. Utah Corrections Executive Director Rollin Cook said in a statement Friday that inmates would not be returned to Daggett County until state officials have confidence in new leaders and security at the jail.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Charlotte County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave let's say actually yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it. 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. 47,000 of you so far right now. $1 a day. I mean, $1 a month on Patreon or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head, help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.